Hey guys, Finn here. That is of course FYWN, and match week 1 is over and I'm actually pretty happy with my predictions for match week 1. Of course some of them were horribly wrong, but of course as I said about football, the beautiful thing is you can't predict everything, and some beautiful things will end up happening in the game of football that would just surprise anyone. And yeah, you can't go into a prediction video thinking you're going to be 100% right, because actually then you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
I beat all you pansies!
But yeah, I'm just going to make a quick match week 2 prediction, and yeah, let's just get straight into this. So of course Arsenal did play against Newcastle last week and they only got a 1-0 win. Overall that's not a very impressive score considering we thought Newcastle would be in a very bad place. Just overall Arsenal weren't quite as impressive as we thought they would be, especially with their 2 new defenders who they didn't start. Burnley also had a really good start. They had a much better start than I thought they would last week, and I think overall they just ended up getting 3 amazing goals to get a 3-0 win over Southampton, and I think that's very impressive from Burnley. I did not expect that in the slightest. So I'm going to have to say I do think Arsenal's still going to beat Burnley though, and I think it is going to be a 2-0 win to Arsenal, hoping that they can get everything in order, hoping that they do start defenders like David Luiz and they do start Tierney, or however you pronounce that defender's name, and they do start Pepe. I think that's a very crucial reason to why they didn't start and play that well in comparison against Newcastle. And overall, although Burnley's looking very good in attack, they do have Danny Drinkwater, stay hydrated kids.
This is great banter.
Overall I do just see Arsenal as the stronger team. Of course they do have the potential to bottle games like these, but overall I do still have to say Arsenal with a 2-0 win. Next up, Villa versus Bournemouth. Of course Bournemouth drew with Sheffield United and Villa lost 3-1 to Spurs.
You're a wizard, Harry.
But overall I'm gonna say Villa. I'm gonna say the relegated team the newly promoted team is gonna get a 1-0 win versus Bournemouth, just because look, Bournemouth, as I've said before, is very impressive, but I do really see Villa as a strong team. And I do look, watching how they did play against Spurs, I don't think the scoreline reflected how they truly were as a team, and I think Villa looks like a really strong team, and I think they can get a 1-0 win against Bournemouth. I really do. And by the way, if you don't know, I have made a Premier League prediction video. I'll link that up above and in the description below, where you guys can see how I think the table's going to look at the end of the season. Otherwise I just think Villa's just going to win 1-0 against Bournemouth. Brighton, West Ham. Brighton, shocked absolutely everyone last week against against Watford with 3-0 win. That totally blew my mind off the water. I thought it was going to be a 3-1 win to Watford, but just proves me wrong over there. Overall I think Brighton still not the strongest. They do play against West Ham, who did lose 5-0 to City.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5.
The last 3 seasons, they've lost their opening game 5-0, 4-0, and 4-0. That is so bad from West Ham. They always seem to start off the season super bad. But just overall, I can see it being a 2-2, just because both teams are really in a bad shape. Unless West Ham can pick up, otherwise it's going to be West Ham getting the win. I can't see it being Brighton getting the win. But as I just said, I think overall it's just going to be a draw. Very equal teams at the moment. Everton versus Watford. Of course, Everton getting the only red card in match week 1.
That's pretty neat.
Getting a 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace, not being overall impressive, and they are going to go against Watford, who are below standards, below par. Very disappointing in their first match week. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win to Everton. I think the goals and the team is just going to come together for Everton. They have a super strong team. I don't think they're going to play like they did against Crystal Palace. I think they're going to pick up, and just overall they're a much faster, much stronger team than Watford is, and I think they really are going to get a comfortable 2-0 win. Next up, Norwich versus Newcastle. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win to Norwich. Look, they lost horribly against Liverpool, but overall I just see Norwich as so good. We saw plays that just absolutely destroyed Liverpool's defense in match week 1. They were so strong and so good against Liverpool that I cannot not see them win against Newcastle. Look, I think Newcastle can get a goal because their attack is actually looking pretty good, although they didn't score against Arsenal. But overall I think Norwich, the way that they did play. Look, they tore Liverpool's defence apart. Even though they only got 1 goal, overall they were just so strong, Norwich, especially getting forward, which I have mentioned before, which I did tell you that I think they will be very dangerous moving forward. They're very dangerous at the back, they're very risky, but they are good at luring plays in so that they can get pockets of space to pass into, and I think they could win either 2-1 or 3-1 against Newcastle.
Okay.
Next up, Southampton versus Liverpool. Now, of course, Liverpool have just lost Alisson for about 8 weeks or something like that. Their main goalkeeper, that is a dreadful loss, but they do have Adrian. He's not that bad, but he's not near the standard of what Alisson is. One of the most important players for Liverpool, and it's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool cope, especially in the Super Cup now. But I think they are going to concede a goal or 2 now. I do think they are going to concede at least 1 versus Southampton. I can see it being a 3-1 win, just because overall Liverpool's a very strong team. They can, or they will definitely beat Southampton, considering Southampton haven't started off strong with a lose to Burnley. But overall, I can see Southampton scoring a goal, making it 3-1, but otherwise the attack from Liverpool is way too much for them. City versus Spurs, that's going to be the game of the week. City versus Spurs, that's just, look, it's going to be so good. Kane scored 2 goals back in the Prem. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch him this season. Of course, City just won 5-0. That is super strong start to the season. And Dembele is looking very strong. I think it's going to be a very strong game, just overall in the defense of both teams, midfield, attack. There's going to be goals. I think it's going to be a goal fest. I'm going to say it's a 3-2 win to City. It's going to be very close, but as I said, I think it's just going to be taken where the winner's going to win by just 1 goal in the 3-2 win. Sorry, Spurs. Sheffield versus Palace. Sheffield did score a goal against Bournemouth, actually showed some promise, showed some really good style of football. And as I've said before, Crystal Palace not looking that strong overall defensively, but they were in a 0-0 versus Everton, which is actually pretty good. I think Crystal Palace is going to get a 1-0 win. I think they're still just going to get the momentum. Crystal Palace, I think they're just going to get a 1-0 win. They just need to get that momentum and that style back in the game, and they just need to pick up form again, and hopefully Zaha can show that he can still do something well at Crystal Palace, even though he hasn't made a move away. Second last is Chelsea versus Leicester. I think it's going to be very close, especially because Chelsea is playing a game midweek. They are playing in the Super Cup, I think, or something, Champions League. They are going to Istanbul, something like that. I think Chelsea, look, they had an awful game against Manchester United, the worst ever loss to Manchester United since like the 1960s, I think it said, and that is a dreadful loss for Chelsea. That was nowhere near their strongest team. Of course, Leicester has some really strong opponents about them, but I think it's going to be a 1-0 win to Chelsea. It's just going to be a scrape for Chelsea, just because they do have such quality of play, especially if Mason Mount plays. I think that could potentially be a huge reason to why they would do win, but they will be fatigued and tired from the midweek. That's why it's only going to be a 1-0 win to Chelsea. Last game, Wolves versus Manchester United. Now, of course, Manchester United, my boys, I'm so happy. What a win. Well done to James. I'm so happy you got that goal. To just the whole team in general. I can't keep saying good, well done, because I'm going to say it to each individual player. But that team has come together and they're showing promise. Maybe not to win the season this season. I mean, I'm not crossing it out. But definitely to challenge for the top 3 at least. It's just looking overall so strong. Versus Wolves. Wolves just drew to a Leicester team that does not have Harry Maguire. I mean, Jota did fumble a bit. He didn't have the best game of his life. But I can see, now listen to me, a 3-0 win to Manchester United. I know that sounds a bit cocky, but the defense of United is looking unbelievably strong, and the attack is looking unbelievably strong. And until Wolves can end up picking up form again, I do see it being a very strong and easy win for Manchester United. And those are my predictions. If you haven't seen, I did upload my thoughts on the Manchester United versus Chelsea game. You guys can check that out. I'll also link that up above and down below. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As I said, this is the new series on the channel where I try upload every week my match day predictions. And of course, if you did like, please do subscribe and hit that bell to be notified as soon as I do upload more videos. I am loving making YouTube videos, of course. This is really fun. I'm so excited the season has started. This has been Finn, F-Y-N-N. Stay awesome. Cheers.